Regarding the most intriguing developments, they occurred on the northern side of Avdiivka. The Russian forces made an attempt to initiate a fresh series of offensives, but due to their overextension, they not only failed to gain any ground but also lost multiple positions across the entire front line. The initial Russian attack was focused on Stepove. Ukrainian operators in charge of reconnaissance drones noticed an increase in the concentration of Russian forces within the tree-covered areas. Consequently, the Ukrainians started preparing themselves to confront this incoming wave of attacks. The Ukrainian drone operators reported that the Russians were taking cover in ditches, remnants of buildings, basements, and even among destroyed heavy machinery in order to evade artillery fire and drone attacks. Once the order to advance was given, these soldiers emerged from their hiding spots and launched large-scale assaults on the Ukrainian positions. In an effort to undermine the planned Russian assault, Ukrainian drone operators actively targeted Russian soldiers. They concentrated their strikes on the extensive network of trenches intersecting the tree lines. The Ukrainians attempted to locate Russian shelters and then carefully maneuvered kamikaze drones inside them. Numerous Russian soldiers were also caught near destroyed equipment when they ventured out for various reasons. These soldiers were reinforcements gradually being sent to the front line by the Russians. The train station became the second focal point for concentrated drone strikes by the Ukrainians. Russian soldiers tasked with assuming positions at this location faced unfortunate circumstances, as the buildings had been demolished, leaving virtually no hiding places. Consequently, the only way Russian soldiers could maintain control of the train station was by constantly evading drones, which proved to be an impractical and nearly impossible task. This turned the train station into a highly disadvantageous and lethal zone for the Russian soldiers. Eventually, the Russian forces received the order to attack Stepove. Ukrainian commanders reported that the Russians did not send all their forces at once, but rather dispatched them in small groups consisting of 10 to 20 soldiers. Some of these assault units were supported by armored vehicles. Unfortunately for the Russians, their troops continued to suffer casualties due to minefields. Russian sources indicated that Ukrainians were actively employing RAM shells for remote mining purposes, particularly targeting the most crucial roads used by the Russians. The Russian assault units sustained significant losses and only managed to reach the first few houses in Stepove, which are a mere 200 meters from their own positions. Although the Russians had previously gained a foothold in this area, this current foothold proved to be weak and unstable. The Russian soldiers hiding amidst the ruins were gradually eliminated by kamikaze drones. Another attack occurred slightly to the south. Here, Russian forces attempted to penetrate Ukrainian positions situated north of the chemical plant, as the Ukrainians utilized it to exert control over the Russian supply routes. Combat footage depicts a Russian attack on a Bradley vehicle, but the Ukrainians persevered in their mission. As a result, they successfully maintained control over their positions behind the concrete walls. These walls run alongside the railroad tracks, enabling the Ukrainians to repel Russian attacks north of the chemical plant with relative ease. Furthermore, the Ukrainian forces promptly launched a counterattack. One of the Ukrainian assault units filmed a video showcasing the newly captured Russian positions within the tree lines and reported that, following the fighting, 5 Russians were killed while the rest fled. In summary, the Russians sought to rectify the issues they encountered during their previous attack on the chemical plant. Specifically, they aimed to dislodge the Ukrainians from their positions in and slightly to the south of Stepove, which were preventing the Russians from sending reinforcements. Unfortunately for the Russians, their attempts to improve their tactical situation failed, and the significant loss of troops during these attacks undermined their ability to maintain control along the tree lines, ultimately exacerbating their tactical position.